This week on the Esoteric Space Race.
I think
while the rest of us are like in the 21st century, you're still back in the Cold War era. Oh, he's gonna have no fuel left. We already know that part of the adventure here.
I will have,
the Choose Your Own Adventure book goes like turn to chapter 20, the last page of the adventure book, and I land sideways because
gosh.
There's no way I'm gonna be able to land properly. So look it, I've successfully landed. The game has officially told me the cargo bay, somewhere along the lines, the cargo bay got exploded off the rocket. So I don't have the cargo bay anymore. Lex, can I just ask? Sorry, Lex. Can I just ask? Are you still showing us a PowerPoint?
No. Almost.
Ladies and gentlemen, gather round, dust your dial, for we bring you a thrilling tale from the far reaches of space. Today we transport you to a time when rockets reign supreme and brave souls push the boundaries of what is possible. Our story unfolds in the vast expanse of the Kerbal system, where rival factions have set their sights on an infamous challenge, the Kessel Run, a race of unparalleled speed and cunning.
And then the radio fades. Hello, Kerbonauts. Welcome to the Esoteric Space Race in Kerbal Space Program 2. Today's challenge is inspired by the famous Kessel Run. We are recreating that famous race around the moons of Jewel. The rules are simple. You have to have a vessel start on pole with a cargo bay and go as fast as it can and land on Tylo with the cargo bay intact. The winner is the shortest end-to-end time for the cargo bay leaving the surface of pole and landing on Tylo. As a special bonus, you get 20% shaved off your time if your special vessel is able to escape the authorities by launching off Tylo after completing the Kessel Run. So I think I should go first because I did not finish and I can show you what not to do and you can laugh at my misfortunes.
Okie dokes.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Wow, that's a very purple rocket.
It is a very purple rocket. So this is my final final attempt. Not my final attempt. This is my best run. And it is absolutely atrocious. So I didn't use anything special. I just used Methalox engines. So no.
Wow. Yeah. Wow, you just use Methalox engines. That's impressive.
I think
while the rest of us are like in the 21st century, you're still back in the Cold War era.
I think I have proved that Cold War era rockets cannot do this challenge.
No, they cannot. We all know that, Des. You should have asked us. We would have told you.
I cannot believe you actually tried it with Methalox.
I did. I got better, but I couldn't do it, and I had to. All the staging is complex, and I kept adding like 1,000 delta V and then
you got 10,000 delta V. Like, oof, that's tough.
But here's the problem. That number is wrong.
Oh, 100% is wrong. Oh, it's very, very wrong. Yeah. This game
wrong.
Does not calculate delta V correctly by any stretch.
So I couldn't figure out what my delta V actually was. And then so I would make a change and the delta V number would just go wild all over the place.
You do not understand. You got to use the Lex solution. Just put way more delta V than you could possibly use, and you might just use it all.
So why do you got those small engines on the side of the rocket?
Because the power of this engine wasn't enough to carry it. I could later remove those because of other delta V that I added earlier stages.
You're going to try to get to Jewel with this thing?
Dude, you're not leaving like the Kerbin orbital reach or whatever.
Oh yes I am. Oh, I'm leaving it.
An escape velocity, that's what we need.
Let me skip forward a little bit here.
Yeah, I'm impressed that you got that far.
And so here's me.
Wow, you got escape velocity. That's impressive.
I got escape velocity and I timed it just right so that it actually boosted me toward Jewel. And here's the problem with this. So when I'm doing the burns, if I switch into map mode to see my progress while I'm doing the burns, the rocket SAS goes crazy and the rocket just tumbles all over the place. I ran into that so many times.
Sorry, it does what?
Yeah, occasionally the rocket will perform weirdly while you're in map mode.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I've seen that as well. Yes, I've experienced it. I didn't know really what to kind of define that as, but okay, fair enough. Yeah.
And it causes problems if, like, for example, in one of my stages, I do half the burn on an engine, stage it, and then do the rest of the burn on another one.
Oh yeah, that's horrible with that.
And it's actually this stage right here. And let me get to it. Oh no, I skipped it. Sorry. It's actually this stage right here. I did part of it with. Apparently, I did not include very much. You're gonna have to cut some of this out. Me searching. Never mind. It's here somewhere. Anyway, so I did some of that stage, and then when the power of the second engine kicks in, you just have no clue. So I have to go back to the map to try to see, and then the rocket tumbled all over the place. I lost so much time loading saves because of that. But then here, and because of that, here in my final run, I overshoot Jewel.
You haven't even begun to solve the problem.
Yes, I haven't even begun to solve the problem.
Wait, so then, you're trying to intercept Jewel right now by so do you need to wrap around one more time?
Yes, I have to wrap around one more time.
Yeah, I did similar. Yeah. Don't feel bad.
Yeah. It's not terrible.
Except he's going to land on Paul and then go to Tylo.
Oh, he's going to have no fuel left. We already know that part of the adventure here.
I will have
the Choose Your Own Adventure book goes like turn to chapter 20, the last page of the adventure book, because you ran out of fuel.
You ran out. So, no, it's worse than that, though, because I don't even make it to Pole, because... What? I just gave up. I was so disappointed by this moment right here. It's coming around like so fast. And it just goes straight.
But you lost your intercept.
Yeah, I lost my intercept. So here it goes. Boom! It just timed it straight through it.
Oh man!
And I was so mad. I was like, nope.
This is the part of the show where at 2 a.m, Des is like, I'm done. I'm done.
The good news is you saved yourself hours of misery trying to actually figure out how to get a rocket that could land, launch, land again.
I'm pretty sure that this rocket had enough to land on Pole. So like it's just I don't.
So
think
what did you do at this point?
Are possible. I just this was my best run.
Oh, this is the run.
This was the run.
You don't even make it to Jewel.
To add more Delta V, but nothing worked.
This whole
terrible, dude.
Yeah, this whole disqualified thing is becoming a theme.
It is.
Yeah, no kidding.
If I apparently don't get it on the first couple runs. I just keep trying and bang my head against the wall and don't get it. So that's my run. Now y'all need to show us how it actually can be done. I think C-Pair should go next.
Yeah, so the launch is kind of uneventful. Essentially, I use like solid fuel rocket boosters to kind of boost myself up here. This lower stage here was kind of underneath or on top of a solid stage, like a Methalox stage essentially, using main sails. So using this, definitely, these kind of 3 rockets, these 3 tanks with these 3 rocket engines get me all the way to Jewel and all the way to, I think, Pole. Yeah. So I get to Pole with this rocket alone, which is pretty insane to think about, Riley.
That's impressive.
So, obviously here's the intercept. So I'm doing the intercept right now. It's pretty boring to watch, obviously. But yeah, this is the Jewel system right here. And really what I did for figuring out intercepts was I just would get close, like get a close intercept, and then I would like adjust manually. So I'd watch the intercept point. I was like, okay, a few kilometers. So I'm burning slowly to figure out where I need to be. So then I'm coming in for the landing, obviously, in at Pole here. And this is me on the kind of the orange planet. So obviously I'm burning really low, and I am burning a lot. Like I am burning quite a bit of... or not a lot, sorry, my part, not a lot of hydrogen to get there. So then I kind of land like this. I abandon the 2 rockets and I'm trying to take off, essentially. I'm like, okay, I try to take off and the rocket just keeps disassembling. It keeps hitting the command module and then the rocket, like it thinks that the game thinks the rocket's essentially blown up, right? So I try again, and I'm thinking that this little ramp here, this little ramp of a hill, I'm like, okay, maybe I can like somehow get my rocket in such a position to kind of like take off. But I figure out that it's not really going to work. Oh, by the way, sorry, I forgot to mention, my cargo bay is this little like circular thing on top right here. So it's it's the little cargo bay. Hey, it didn't say how big the cargo bay had to be, so I kept the thing real small. So eventually, obviously, I come in for the landing, and I do a pretty good job. Lots of bouncing. So what I actually did was I actually like looked up pole because I knew nothing about pole. I was like, what is pole? And pole is like the lowest gravity in the game, like by a significant margin. So I
thought Gilly was less.
Maybe. Okay, it's one of. Let's go that direction. Yeah. So eventually I do land the rocket, but you see it just starts bouncing. Like, and I just kissed the ground essentially. So this is me. Yeah, okay, I want to get this fateful flight. So I eventually land, right? I land. And I land sideways because
gosh.
There's no way I'm going to be able to land properly. So look it, I've successfully landed. The game has officially told me I'm at rest here. And so I boost myself and I'm like, hey, all I need to do is essentially angle my rocket up. You can see my SAS. I am just burning up. Like I'm just trying to go up essentially. So I'm like, maybe I can bounce my rocket in such a way using the low gravity of pull to kind of like bounce my way up essentially. So it kind of works. I eventually get to this point where I'm like, okay, and now I'm going towards this mountain. That's the one thing. So I'm like, okay, I need to like bounce like straight up or else I'm going to hit this mountain. So I do that. I bounce up and then you can kind of see like I go through the rock. I thought the rock would have bounced, but it's not a solid rock. So I'm like, okay, well, so I bounce and then all of a sudden you'll see this moment of like almost like Einstein moment where like the light bulb turns on. So just wait for it. It's going to happen here.
You're going to fire the rocket up.
Oh yeah. Wait for it. Like, it's like it's like somewhere right here. Yeah. Like, so it hits. Yep. There we go. I'm just like, and we're out of here.
You're cushioning your rocket.
Just above the horizon.
Yeah. And then essentially just take off those engines and let her rip. So this is me on my first Kessel Run. All right. So I am out of here. So yeah, I eventually take back off and I'm heading towards Tylo. Okay, so I'm going towards Tylo, set up some intercepts. The intercept obviously was a lot easier, right? But as you see my orbital velocity, I'm cruising. And so I'm actually burning through a lot of like hydrogen fuel right now. And I'm actually about to run out of this engine that I had trying to actually just stop myself from like on the escape trajectory, right? But obviously I do. So I get to Tylo and I can't tell you how many times, like, look I'm going 500 meters per second. Trying to slow down. Like I am burning and I still have a lot of fuel left. And I am just like trying to let her rip and I just don't do it. I smuck into the ground like boop every single time. So eventually get to this point where I'm like, okay, if I just actually start burning at about 242 kilometers up in the air, right? And I kind of like lower my surface speed slowly over time, I can probably get to the point where I can come in at least decently slow enough. And now I'm burning pretty hard here. Like this was like a constant burn because these engines aren't powerful, right? These are very like low power engines. They're really used for more like orbital maneuvers than really landing at the end of the run. Yeah. So I'm coming in about 200 here coming in. And obviously I probably don't have that footage, which is kind of weird. Oh, no, I do. It's just the next video. So I'm coming in. Yeah, it's a slow descent because I really don't want to smuck into the ground really hard here. And here it comes nicely into the ground. Wait for it. And boop. There we go.
52.
So that's what I got.
54.
Did you get that?
256.50.
So.
And 10 years to 107 days. So you were.
Oh, I was. Comparatively to what I've been hearing on the street about who did what. Yeah, I'm way slower than some people here. Well, at least I didn't get disqualified like some people did.
No.
So I like, here's the problem though. Here's the problem. Do you guys notice something wrong with my rocket?
No, it's red.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
The cargo bay, somewhere along the lines, the cargo bay got exploded off the rocket. So I don't have the cargo bay anymore. essentially somewhere along the lines, I think it was along my little bumpy journey on pole. I think I tore off the cargo bay.
So actually, no. Then you're also
I
disqualified.
know. Oh, I know. Oh, I know.
This is gonna be easy.
Oh, I know. So, but here's the worst thing of it all, guys. Here's the worst thing of it all is like I felt so proud of myself. I was like, I made it to Tylo. I'm super happy. And then I look and I'm like,
No.
when did this happen? Like when in this journey, like we can even like
hours in the game.
Oh, wow, this is.
Well, Lex,
I don't even
show
know
us what you got,
say.
Lex.
This is painful, guys. I'm like, okay, can you see me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Wow, you got like a PowerPoint presentation for us? Wow,
well, I did edit a little bit so I could explain. So this is here's the plan. It's pretty basic. Gonna do a high speed Tylo flyby and then do a suicide bum. It's technically burn, but I just think it looks like bum on that thing. So
real mature.
Basically, you'll see it's basically a flyby course. Very, very much a just scrape by. Try to get as much force as possible. So this is the escape.
Oh, this
module.
is a PowerPoint.
Yeah. So this is the escape module at the top. It's got a little control module there because you didn't say we had to have a person. I'll go back.
I did not. Yeah, I was wondering.
And so this is the actual lander on Tylo. It's got the cargo bay in the center. This, I think, is the most useful part, which is the actual thing, and we can focus on it. So the key is this is a quad-ion Methalox engine. So it's got a high-thrust engines for the Paul landing, the Tylo flyby, and the suicide burn. And then these very low-thrust engines for the moon slingshot, the trans-joule ejection, the joule aero brake, and the trans-pole ejection. So the idea is I'm going to...
You know what's
This is
interesting
actually
is you're
engineered.
doing this, and I actually did similar. Like I actually looked up the engineering or the reports, like the various reports of all the Delta V estimations, and I was like, okay, if I do one stage, next stage, next stage, so this is good. This is really good.
So the idea here was that I needed a very high Delta V low weight approach so that I could maximize the amount of Delta V that I landed on Paul with, because I felt like I'm going to have to really push hard to get to Tylo. So I needed a very efficient approach. Now it has some challenges, which you guys are going to see, but that's the basic idea.
Well, that's why we make the video, is because the challenges are fun.
Challenges are fun. So this is the main section. Then the SKV-3C, I also call this the Asparagus 1, because the bottom of this thing is just a gigantic asparagus staging system. Just an absolute disaster.
Are you, Lex? Can I just ask? Sorry, Lex. Can I just ask? Are you still showing us a PowerPoint?
No. Almost.
Oh, you mean you're not just like manually keyboarding through the frames here?
Yeah, you're not showing us a PowerPoint anymore, Lex?
It really was that slow during that stage. So
wait, where's the engines?
The engines, that's the bottom of it. The engines are in the middle. I'm literally
okay.
So let's go back to this, because we're seeing this thing is
but those fuel tanks. So why do you have those fuel tanks with no engines?
Because I need to drop them off as I use up the fuel. I'm asparagus staging. I'm literally just dumping.
This is more than just asparagus staging. This is like multi-layered asparagus staging.
That's why I called it the Asparagus 1. So at the core of this thing, I've got the power reactors. I had 4 of them. I needed 2 to actually power up the ion drives. This is going to do most of the work. The ion drives have got almost 5,000 Delta V. I'm currently in orbit. So now I've got the problem of, let us get to the joyous vision. Now you're going to see the fun of this. Okay, then in a second, we got to turn off the engine. And you notice we gain just a little bit with each one of these. So now we're going to go do it again.
Oh, and again.
And again.
And again.
And again.
Wow.
So you're trying to gravity slingshot, essentially.
Basically, I'm trying to use a very low thrust engine, and I've got to build up to get to a gravity slingshot, and it is slow. So needless to say, this took a little while. And so I worked
The engine you're using here is what again?
Ion engines.
Ion engines. Okay. What? Yeah.
That's pretty much described.
Yeah. 1 eternity later.
And eventually
later.
I eventually get to the point where it's like, okay, I'm gonna have a Moon Slingshot, which is going to give me some extra cheap Delta V because I need as much as I can get. I didn't show it, but I actually ended up by total random chance getting a Minmus flyby, but that wasn't part of the plan. So now we're going to use the ion engines to get us to Jewel. That's the key here.
So
And
Kerbin, Minmus, and now Jewel.
yeah, okay. It was Moon, then it was Minmus
Moon.
Slingshot. Yeah, a Moon Slingshot, then an accidental Minmus Slingshot, and then now we're going to Jewel.
Okay.
So now I'm like, okay, yep, now we got our Jewel intercept all worked out. So that's the big plan. Now we are going to use a Jewel arrow break because I do not have enough Delta V to slow down without help with the Jewel is going to have to do most of the work for me. If you've ever done this arrow break, it's extremely touchy.
Yes.
And so I had a number of tries
Arrow
to figure
break.
out the... Yes, you use Jewel to slow you down. An arrow break.
Jewel has a very thick atmosphere.
Yep.
Oh, does
and
it?
Then,
Oh, I did not
yes,
know that.
you can use it. You can then essentially have what amounts to a series of very slow slingshots. So now I'm finally ready to land. I've used up all of the Xenon and the ion engines. Now I'm going to land. Be very exciting. I've still got quite a bit left. And of course, yeah. So,
Yeah, no
oops.
kidding. Yeah.
So this happened. So I had to do it again.
I love the Star Wars transition you got there. That thing.
So eventually, I do actually successfully land, and it wanders for a bit until it slows down, and then it's like, okay, now we are going to. This is a positioning move. So part of the speed thing is putting Tylo in the right place.
Yes.
And so I am moving. I did a little practice runs to figure out where Tylo needed to be, so that I could get it in the fastest run I could come up with. Then I take off at 1:59, 5:58, 48. And essentially, now I'm going to just try to book it. That's the plan here. Don't even let Paul's gravity slow me down. Like, I'm just going to try to get out the orbit as quick as I can.
Yeah, and by the way, this is the way to do this because the Kessel Run, he did it in 12 parsecs is the legend, and that is a distance, not a time.
It is a distance, yes.
We're using time as a proxy here.
Yeah, but can you find there were some theoretically faster routes, but I did not have enough Delta V to try them. Yeah. This was a pretty high Delta V run. So basically I try to get out of Paul as quickly as possible because Paul itself is slowing you down, which just eats up your Delta V. And so I did a little turn so that I could be positioned, because in some of my runs I would actually end up going back into Paul and it would screw up my transitions. But I basically get up to about 400 speed. I've only got about 1500 on the main module, but I still have quite a few stages, as you can see. The ion drives really bought me a lot of very low weight thrust. That's the big magic with those. And so the trick now is going to be, okay, now I got to set up that little suicide burn that you talked about, or the very fast flyby. So essentially it's get that flyby in as quick as possible. I've put Tylo in the position I want it to be. And now I'm just moving, going a little bit faster. Turns out at this particular point, I can speed up. And if I do it correctly, I can hit Tylo a little bit faster. I can save some travel time. This is about as fast as I could go. So now at this point, I'm pretty much at the limit of my Delta V capabilities. But I'm like, oh, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We got it. So now it's just a matter of let's go make the intercept. So I've got there. And you saw the picture earlier. This is basically that setup. So now I try to begin it.
This is a very risky maneuver. You're about to use 975 Delta V. You have 1400 on board.
I've got a lander module with additional Delta V.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to have very, very little left, but what I have left is going to have to be enough. And so, yeah, that's the reason I used the ion engines to get the biggest lander I could. You saw how big that lander was.
Yeah, it's huge.
That's a huge lander, but I needed all the Delta V. So I'm going to be coming in at a really sharp angle, and I'm going to have to basically, no orbit, no nothing. I'm just going to have to slow this sucker down as fast as possible. And I actually do run into a little bit of a practical problem when I did it. If you saw in my earlier chart, the top section was a little bit of waste of mass. I can't actually land if I don't get rid of those solid rocket boosters at the top, which basically I thought at that point it means I'm going to have to give up my mission. You actually see I just fire them off to slow it down. That way I'm going to I'm going to use them to slow me down, and I'm going to dump them. You could just see my poor rocket would be melting at this point.
Just like, wow, that is a fireball.
It's a
Fireball and
fireball.
a half.
But I just had to do it. It's the only way to realistically do it. It's close run thing. I'm struggling. Look at my Delta V's 310, and I'm going in. I mean, I've just barely
30, 20. Wow.
Yeah.
0.
Yeah,
Wow.
run it out. Almost get there, but I just bounce around. So the landing ended up being just pure misery. Let's put it that way. And so one eternity later, after a crazy amount of
Jeez Louise.
Okay, we're down to 200. We're at 190. We're gonna make it. I'm so excited. This is gonna be awesome. We're almost there on the land. We've got about 12. Got plenty of delta. So now I've got enough Delta V. Unfortunately, I don't quite stick the landing.
As long as the cargo bay survives.
No, so we had to do it again. But this time the cargo bay, we actually did land. This is our final tip. Look at my Delta V total.
Dude. 40 left.
40 Delta V left.
40 Delta V left. Wow.
And we're on the ground, but the RCS is still firing, so it's got some maneuver. I'll turn the RCS in a minute. Cargo bay is still there. I'm actually about to open it so that you can see that I, in fact, still have a cargo bay. So I have successfully completed it.
Nice job, dude.
It's 5 days and a little over an hour, but I'm not done yet, guys. There's a takeoff module.
No.
So we take off, and this thing has enough Delta V, even with my mistake of having to add more than I needed.
Wow.
It's capable of getting off Joule. And that
but
is
no, but it's escape. It's escape velocity.
It's escape. It is going to escape the Joule system, which was the actual requirement.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I'm down to this thing, but that's enough. That's enough.
Wow. I'm impressed, Lex. And Lex was complaining that he was going to be the worst at this game. I think this is really a true feat of engineering here, Lex.
You just destroyed us.
Well, I could have done it in 1,000 years and beaten y'all's times.
But
yeah, I get it. I appreciate the compliment.
But dude, this is ridiculous.
Yeah,
this is insane.
So I'm about to take. You didn't actually think anybody was getting it off, did you?
I didn't. I just threw that on at the end as okay, something to stretch for.
No, there's a.
And there it is.
There it is. So now I'm going to escape Joule. I just have to create a maneuver. Not only am I in orbit, now I've got an escape with plenty of Delta V to do it.
Oh my gosh. So not only did you do it, I didn't finish. Pear destroyed his cargo bay.
So let's talk about, let's figure out, so let's calculate our times, everybody, and figure out who won.
Yeah. Let's figure that out. And basically, you get to subtract a day off of your time.
Yep. I actually do have the time at the end. I recorded it just so that it would be able to calculate. Look at all the little stuff flying around in the planet. All the stuff I dumped into space. So yeah, we are now outside of the Joule system. So we have completed that objective.
Well done.
And so we've done all the requirements. And so this is my time. Start time, end time, run time, and the final. 4 days, 1 hour.
Wow.
Congratulations,
Lax.
Stunned.
Yeah, I wanted to show you guys. I thought you'd be really pleased with this one. I was like, I think I did it.
Yeah.
But I wasn't. But I figured Dez or you might have come up with something really cool, and I'd have some tough competition.
Well, I did
expect
until
a
I
double
blew off my cargo bay. That was just so disappointing. I remember seeing the cargo bay being like, wait, where is the car? Oh my goodness.
So, Methalox can't do this alone. Don't lose your cargo bay. And use Xeon engines.
Which are... But there's a lot I didn't show. Those things are painful.
So, that is the end of that competition. And this week, instead of another challenge for next week, we are going to shift gears a little bit. Before we started this episode, one of the things that we really didn't touch on too much is how many bugs we ran into trying to do this challenge.
I wouldn't want to bore people with that story.
It is ridiculous. How
If we talked about every bug we ran into, we would have been at it for a while.
a long time, yeah. And the same bug over and over again, and then 50 different bugs. It's pretty insane. So this game is really challenging and time consuming to deal with right now. But we think that it will be better in the future as they release some of the promised updates like bases and other star systems and that sort of thing. So we will come back to this, but we are going to next time visit a different game, to be determined.
Sounds good.
So Lex, what's our send off?
What's our send off? Yeah.
Are we really doing this?
This has been the Esoteric Gaming Crew. Are we really doing this? Catch you next time.
Later.